Good afternoon, I am Karen Kozia Phillips. C News is live at noon.
And I'm Nasir Mohammed with sports.
To the top of our news now, former Minister of Housing Dr. Rudal Munilal is calling for the report into the Las Alturas Housing Estate at Morva to be made available to the national community. The report was handed to President Anthony Carmona on Wednesday following a commission of inquiry into the failed $80 million project.
As a former Minister of Housing myself, I agree with the view of the chairman of the commission, who yesterday called this a tragedy. Full disclosure in this matter is necessary since many of those involved in this disaster called Las Alturas are currently in key national positions. They control vast sums of taxpayers' money. As soon as the president gives this report to the government, it should be made public without any form of censure whatsoever.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley was Minister of Housing and Noel Garcia was the Managing Director of the Housing Development Corporation when Las Alturas was being constructed. Parents of students attending the Chatham Primary School have opted to keep their children away from school for the rest of this week. Aruna Manohar says despite promises made by the Minister of Education, the building contractor has not been paid.
They are protesting because they want the school. The school has been promised that it would have been reopened. And what's going on is that the contractor said he wasn't going to do no work till he get paid. So the contractor didn't get paid for the previous work that he did on the school. Just until when he gets paid, then.
The primary school is temporarily housed in a preschool which was built to accommodate some 50 students. And according to parents, there are about 100 students at this time.
There's a preschool there. The school was supposed to hold like 50 students, preschoolers, and right now the amount of students is like 147. Classrooms are divided into two. The sanitizers are outside. They have a shed outside. The sanitizers are outside there. They're all cramped up.
And Ms. Manohar says that the children are undergoing further hardships as they have to get up very early to access the one maxi taxi which goes to the preschool in Princestown. She is calling on the Minister of Education to make good on his promise to finish the last 15% of the school that requires attention. Police are searching for 29-year-old Corey's Curtis Dobson, who is wanted in connection with rape charges. The police is asking the public who may know of his whereabouts to call 555 or 800 tips to report anonymously. Dobson's last known address was Temple Street, El Socorro Extension, San Juan. And Denise Martin, the Faizabad woman who was shot last week, succumbed to her injuries at the San Fernando General Hospital around 9 o'clock last night. The 27-year-old was shot in her head while at the Station Road Faizabad home of her boyfriend. Her boyfriend Shamsuddin Mohammed also received gunshot wounds to his upper right leg. He was treated and discharged. Police are yet to make any arrests. Now, President of the Single Fathers Association, Rondell Fields, is appealing to authorities to allow Jerome Henry to attend his son's funeral. Henry was charged with neglect on Wednesday after his 5-year-old son, Josiah Paul, drowned when he jumped into a drain near his family's Belmont home. He was swept away into the East Dry River. Henry was placed on $75,000 bail, which his family cannot raise.
They said that he is totally distraught, which is totally understandable because, I mean, you love your child and now you can see that, hey, allegedly I am now responsible for being blamed that my child is gone and I don't have my child more than the blame. My child is no longer there. And they are trying to see, the funeral is tomorrow, and they're trying their best to see how we can be facilitated to see the child or to attend the funeral. But he's never going to see this child again. That's what they need to realize. It's not like he's going to see him next week. He's not going to see the child ever again. So I think they need to truly make every effort to facilitate him being there tomorrow.
Mr. Fields says while he's not condoning neglect of the child, he's aware that often single parents take risks which border on neglect as well, and as such asks the public to be more mindful when commenting on the case.
Even those of us who may judge this father or judge parents who do this sometimes, We sometimes send our children to walk to school at 8 years old by themselves, a mile away. We send them to travel to school themselves, and we say they'll be safe. We send them in the shops and parlors themselves, and we say they're going to be safe. But sometimes these things do happen. So it's a call for all parents to be on the guard and to be more mindful and to be more protective, because we cannot anticipate what can happen in these situations.
Police are currently investigating the discovery of burnt human remains in Cora, East Trinidad. According to reports, shortly after 9 a.m., residents discovered human bones in a burnt pile at an empty lot along Cora Royal Road. Residents said they had first noticed the pile 3 days ago, but only investigated it today. And now here's a look at your weather forecast.
We're in the middle of the wet season, and the intertropical convergence zone set to affect both islands today, with spells of rain and blustery showers coming by, turning heavy or thundery at times. Under the cloudiness, it will feel pleasant, below 30 degrees Celsius, with a cool but wet night expected. For sailors heading out into the Atlantic, you'll meet a slight chop of 1.5 meters, with east-northeasterly swells of 12 seconds, and southeasterly winds of 10 knots, gusting fresh at times. Low tide at 3:30 p.m. is followed by a high tide at 9:30 p.m. That is the latest weather, and I am meteorologist Ian Wallace.
You're watching the CNews Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at CNews Live. The Steelworkers Union is still waiting to meet with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to submit a proposal to get ArcelorMittal back on stream. Its Chief Labour Relations Officer Timothy Bailey says it's almost a year since workers from the steel company were sent home, and up to now government has not taken any steps to prevent another multinational company from shutting down and leaving workers on the breadline. Mr. Bailey said the former steel workers continue to find it hard to get jobs, and now families are being separated. He says the union's proposal will get the company back up and running, so the former workers will have jobs.
This proposal is a proposal that cannot fail, and we are confident that we could be placed in a position where we could turn around the situation.
He said funding for this will not be done by the government.
It will be spent by the government on the startup of this proposal. The proposal is fully financed by an international company, and this international company has already signaled that they would be allowing the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, the workers, the minority shareholders and minority owners of this facility, once they are given the opportunity to come into this country to start back up this plan.
Economist Indira Sajuan Ali says the government should tell the population where and on what it spent $59 billion. During the 2015-2016 budget presentation, government proposed a $63 billion budget, but this was later revised to $59 billion as a result of the decline in oil and gas prices. Speaking on CTV's morning show, Sajuan Ali said the government needs to be more accountable. Rishi Harinanan tells us more.
On Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the 2016-2017 budget presentation will be made before the end of September, and asked the country to brace for some reduction in its level of comfort and even some pain. However, economist Indira Sajuan Ali asked if government can handle the social fallout.
The government in this budget makes a hard decision to reduce the allocation to CPEP and URP. The social fallout, and that could be significant. Do we have the mechanism to be able to address that and deal with that? So this is a very difficult time for any government that is having to manage the country.
She said the situation is very hard to handle, but it's not impossible. And as part of the budget presentation, she wants the government to say where and on what $59 billion was spent.
Tell us exactly what monies was spent on. Explain to us why it is that we didn't feel much economic spending taking place in the country, even though the budget was maintained even after it was cut at a very high level. In my memory, it's about close to $59 billion.
Dr. Rowley also said there might be an increase in taxes. Sajuan Ali questioned what government wants to tax.
we're a country where in this year alone, we have seen increased taxes, and on two occasions, the government, the first in the budget, and then in the review of the budget, we had additional taxes being levied on the country. And from all indicators, the government has not been very successful in increasing revenues through these taxation measures.
She shared a similar view with the PM that the country can handle its own business and there is no need for talk about the IMF coming. Rishi Harinanan, C News.
To other news now, the Children's Authority has asked the media to stop identifying children who are victims and or witnesses of a crime. Now this comes after reports on Wednesday that a 13-year-old girl was injured when a male relative chopped her mother to death. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the authority noted the media continues to publish images and information that identify children, including their names, ages, and the community in which they reside, and said it places children and their family at risk of retribution and harm. So based on this, our social media question today was, what action, if any, should be taken against media houses that publish images of minors in violent circumstances? Well, Shanika Osborne says common sense should tell them that they are not supposed to publish images of children. They are not studying the negative impact it can have on their lives. And Sabina Ali said, I think there's a limit to everything, know when to make them stop. While David Sammy Jr. said Beyond the Tape showed a video with the girl that was chopped yesterday. I think they went too far. Remember, you can keep sharing your views with us. All you have to do is visit our Facebook or Twitter pages at CNews Live. And now Nasira Mohammed is with us to tell us what's taking place in sport. Cleopatra Borrell is in Brussels, Nasira.
It certainly is for the Diamond League meet that she's going to take part in. And yes, you know, she's finishing up her season, so we'll take a look at what's happening with Cleopatra. Trinidad and Tobago's Olympic shot put queen Cleopatra Borrell is gearing up for a strong finish to her 2016 season. The 37-year-old Sportswoman of the Year is in Belgium, where she was selected to compete in the highly contested Brussels Diamond League. Borrell joins the ranks of decorated athletes on the roster to compete at this event, with her focus on keeping the momentum from her performance at Rio 2016. Soon thereafter, Borrell will head to Marseille, France for the SIAT Declination, which she indicated will be her final competition for 2016. And the build-up to the Paralympics might not have been the smoothest, but things changed last night with the very colorful opening ceremony in Stade de Maracana Stadium in Rio. Taking its rightful place among the other nations parading was Team TTO, with Hakeem Stewart carrying the TT flag. He is one of 3 athletes representing Trinidad and Tobago at these games and is hoping to land gold for TNT in the field events, where he is among the favorites. The games got a late burst of government funding and large ticket donations to ensure that as many people as possible get the chance to attend the events. And from the look of things, we can all be prepared to be inspired and excited by elite athletes with an impairment, showcasing their incredible sporting abilities. And in Formula One news now, US firm Liberty Media has confirmed it is buying the racing business Formula One for $4.4 billion. The move ends years of speculation about the ownership of the company. Bernie Ecclestone will remain as chief executive officer, but Chase Carey, vice chairman of 21st Century Fox, will now become the new chairman. Liberty Media has stakes in several sports and entertainment businesses, including the Atlanta Braves Major League Baseball club. Owned by the billionaire John Malone, Liberty will initially purchase a minority stake in the world's leading motor racing championship, and a full takeover is planned if regulators approve the deal. The total transaction values the firm at $8 billion, but includes $4.1 billion of F1's debt. And that was your C Sports for today.
We take a look now at what's happening in and around the Caribbean.
Jamaican opposition legislator Dr. Marius Guy said he's particularly concerned about the Jamaican authorities in Britain issuing emergency certificates for over 60 nationals who, by virtue of length of the time they have lived in the UK, would not have any Jamaican passport. This after more than 60 Jamaican nationals were deported from Britain, and the Prime Minister is being asked what role his government would have played in that action. Job losses are coming at the Arawak Cement Company in Barbados. Officials of the company yesterday told workers they will be offered voluntary separation packages as the restructuring which started last year continues. General Manager of Arawak, Manuel Toro, said the first phase of the restructuring in October 2015 did not go as expected. He said, given the economic situation globally and regionally, the company has no choice but to go this way. Prime Minister of Barbados Frundle Stewart and Prime Minister of Jamaica Andrew Holness have held talks on the state of bilateral relations between the two countries. The talks came against the background of two recent incidents related to Jamaican travellers to Barbados. Both Prime Ministers agreed that there was a need to strengthen the bilateral relationship, particularly in light of recent incidents. Prime Minister Stewart said the reported incidents were unfortunate.
And that's the CNews update at noon. CNews, powered by a team of journalists and producers across the Republic and the region, on television, radio and online.
CNews, your news, your country, our job.